Hey there, Aries. Alright, so we're going to be looking at your video today. We're going to be doing your video, not looking at it, unless I go into the future. Give me a minute, maybe I can get there. But we're going to be doing your video, and this is going to be... haven't decided on a name yet. It's kind of going to evolve each time I'm doing these videos, but it's basically empowering people. It's basically focusing on what we can do in a situation where we felt powerless, and now we can actually turn that into something of a good thing. Instead of focusing just on how negative something is, we can actually focus on the power of the positive. So with that being said, I'm going to shuffle these cards, and this is the Who Am I Without Them spread, okay? And I appreciate you clicking on this. It takes courage to click on something like this because it's something where you kind of have to come to some truths and some realizations, and you have to realize that healing is ultimately the best thing and the best form of self-love that you can do. So I really appreciate you guys clicking on this, and let's move forward. Okay, so who were you like with them? So what was the person you were when you were in this relationship? What was your role? And I see the World card. Okay. So you could have been in the relationship, you could have been everything to this person. And that can be a tricky thing to do because maybe this person didn't have a lot of friends or a lot of outside connections, and so you had to play the role of mother, father, friend, lover, partner, teacher. And ultimately the only roles we should be playing in relationships are kind of teaching roles. So the last one would actually be a good one to have, but where you have to be everything to one person can actually be very challenging. So it can be something where, you know, you make them breakfast, you do their chores for them, you do all this stuff for them, and then at the end of the day, you've done so much for them that you start to lose your sense of self and self-identity because you've been giving so much of yourself to someone else that you feel like now you are them. There's almost a sense of indebtedness to doing that for someone because you feel like that they're helping to give your life purpose by having you do their things for them, and it's couldn't be further from the truth. It actually starts to take away from your mental state of well-being because then you're not focusing on you and your journey, you're focusing just on the one person. Okay, let me know if that makes sense to you guys because that's what I'm getting. So I want to look at this here, and I want to see what limited your relationship is our second card. So what limited your relationship, and I get the Knight of Cups, okay? And so when I see the Knight of Cups, I'll hold it up one more time. When I see the Knight of Cups, I see someone who can be an emotional extremist. Does that mean they're extremely emotional? No. That means that they could be that, yes, but that also means that they could also be someone who's very numb and very cold inside. So what limited your relationship could have been a lack of expression, or that it could have been so explosive that no words were ever heard, but the actions of the words were felt, sort of like an explosion. Like, you don't have to see an explosion to know that there was an explosion. You can feel the vibration of it. And with energy, it's the same thing. You don't have to hear what the person's saying to know that they're angry. You can just hear the tone, completely tune them out, and know that there's anger going around, and there's like this circulating sense of venom that's going between the both of you, and neither one of you has an immunity to this kind of venom. It's something that just hurts, regardless of if you hear what they're saying or not. You can tell that there's anger, and you can tell that there's energy, and it's like being injected into you. It's kind of weird. I don't know exactly where that was coming from. I do feel like that's Spirit's way of saying something. To me, it made sense, but I feel like to some of you that will make more sense, okay? So definitely focus more on that. Also, here's my magic wand. This is a selenite wand, you guys. They're really cool. I got this for like $5, so not a bad little price for that. A lot of energy in that. But we're going to be focusing on this here. So why would you want to be alone? Okay, let's look at that. Page of Wands. So when we look at the Page of Wands, you see a child standing there holding up a wand, holding up a torch. And it's weird because I just showed you the wand I have, my magic wand. That was kind of weird. But the thing that's going on here is that why would you want to be alone? You can start to discover yourself again. You can start to understand yourself again in ways where there's nobody that's going to judge you. And there's a sense of vulnerability here, like really vulnerable, and especially when we look at this card. So when I see this here, I see a naked woman, and I see this card. I see someone who's vulnerable, but I also see someone who can discover a sensuality for life again. Not necessarily in a sexual way, but in a way that's sensual, in a way that you're really feeling what's going on within you, and you're feeling what's going on in the world, and you're not having anyone kind of judge you for feeling emotions. I do feel like this person, if you were being emotional, okay, and I say emotional, but if you were having an emotion, I feel like this person would want to mute it as much as possible. So the way that they mute it is that they gaslight, they blame shift, and when they do that, they make it so that you feeling your own emotions seems like a crazy concept. It seems like a crazy thing. You have emotions? You had an emotion again today? When does it stop? Kind of a thing. And yeah, that's a fun energy to be around. So this is a sense of you liberating yourself, finding your own sense of passion, your own sense of, and I got justice for some reason. So some of you could have been dealing with a Libra, but it's finding that balance, and maybe that's also what the justice meant. It's finding that balance, finding that kind of, I owe this to myself kind of energy. I'm not indebted to anyone, but I am grateful that I can start to heal myself. So that's what I'm feeling there. So we're on to who am I without them? I have a little notebook over here, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm not just drifting off into space. Actually, I might be. You never know. But who am I without them? And I get strength. Wow. That is cool. Okay, so we get the Page of Wands, and we get the Strength card. You get the Strength card right there. Okay, so to me, both of these speak of empower. Like, this whole reading is empowerment, right? And that's exactly what I wanted to do, focusing on this. So what I see here is I see strength. I see a sense of resolve within yourself. You're realizing you're a lot stronger than you thought you were, and it's surprising you. It's starting to, it freaks you out a little bit because you're like, why was I in that situation? And then we go into a place where sometimes we beat ourselves up because we're like, I spent so much of my time in this relationship or in this situation, and I actually am a powerful person, but this person made me believe I wasn't. So instead of taking that time and belittling yourself and telling yourself that it was a waste of time, it was all this, it wasn't, okay? You weren't wasting time. It wasn't a stupid thing to do. It's a lesson that had to be learned, and you have to come at yourself with this sense of gentle knowingness where it's like, okay, that was my journey, and that's okay that that was my journey. Don't judge yourself. That in itself is a lesson, is to not beat yourself up in these situations. To understand that we all learn lessons differently, and even if it takes a second, even if it takes a little bit to learn the lesson, that does not matter. Okay, it's not a race. It's not anything else. We are gently learning, and that's what we should be striving for. We shouldn't be forcing ourselves to do anything, especially at this point in our lives. Sorry if I got a little Papa Bear on you guys, but I have to say it. Don't beat yourselves up over this. Mistakes happen. Things happen, and then we move on. We grow from the mistakes, okay? So this one here, though, I'm going to be using the Energy Oracle cards. I have this right here. Okay, and the cards I was using before, these are from the Fountain. So those other cards I got, I love the Fountain cards. And this, it's got a little magnetic clasp on it. And it says, you are the voice and the breath of universes. Which is really cool. I really, really like this. And it's got that kind of rainbow, unicorn, shimmery, silvery sparkle stuff. Which I love. I mean, come on. What guy wouldn't love rainbow, shimmery, sparkly unicorns? Okay, so moving on to this. So this next card is, how should I move forward? So how should you move forward? What should you do with your life in this new direction? And I get the Door to Romance in reverse. Okay, so these cards actually can be read in reverse. And when I see the Door to Romance being read in reverse, or being in reverse, I see that there needs to be a sense of healing from the past, but we're going to be focusing on this. Okay, you guys, I want you to remember this. We need to focus on a sense of forgiveness when we're ready. But do you know what that means, the sense of forgiveness? A lot of people think if I forgive the person, it means I have to say to them, I have to go up to them and be like, I forgive you for whatever happened, and, you know, yada yada. No. When we're talking about forgiveness, we're talking about not letting them get to us anymore. We're talking about saying, you know what, whatever you did to me, it was messed up, and I didn't appreciate it. But forgiveness does not mean that you condoned their actions and that you're like, okay, well, that's okay that that happened because I deserved it. No. Forgiveness is saying to yourself, it's the ultimate form of self-love. It's saying to yourself, I'm ready to move on and I don't want to hold this in my heart anymore. When you guys are ready for that, go for it. But forgiveness does not mean that you condone the behavior that was done to you. It just means that you're done holding on to it. You're done holding on to it in your heart. You're saying, okay, I want to be free of this. I don't want to experience this anymore. And you're saying, okay, right? And you don't even have to say sorry to the person in person or to their face. You can just send an energy of forgiveness and say, I'm ready to move on, and cut the cord, okay? That's another thing we can do, is we can visualize ourselves, you know, relaxing, meditating, whatever it happens to be, and you can imagine the other person and you're cutting the cord. And when you do that, the more you do that over and over again, the less energy exchange you're going to have with them, and the easier it's going to be to move on from the way that they made you feel and how they could pull you in certain directions. As soon as we start cutting energy away and we start doing that, that's when we can start to heal. Okay, that's when we can start to feel a sense of peace. And the universe may test you, and that person may come back as soon as you start cutting the ties. They may come back in your life in some way. And it's your ability to say, or it's your right to say, I don't want to be with you anymore, if that's what you choose to have, or what you choose to do. You do not have to be in a situation you feel uncomfortable with, especially when you're finding your own power and your own sense of identity right now in this point in time. Okay, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and please like, share, and thumbs up this, okay? It means a lot to me, and it increases the YouTube algorithm. The video gets shown to more people, and it just helps a lot. I want to be crystal clear with that, because it's not like I'm trying to game the system or do whatever. It's just I feel like more people need to hear this than just you guys, and I would really appreciate likes, shares, comments, and subscribes if you feel like this deserves it. Also, if you would like to work with me, I will have my email down below. We can work on developing as a psychic. We can work on developing as an energy healer. We can work on how to contact your guides. We can work on so many different things. Okay, so please message me down below. Ask me if you want a reading, whatever it happens to be. Please message me, and we can go from there. I love you guys very much. I want you to take care, and I will speak with you guys very soon.